Have you ever noticed how some people just seem to hold the room in their hands without even saying a word? They don't raise their voice, they don't beg, they don't plead. They just step back, and suddenly the atmosphere changes. The energy shifts. People start wondering, chasing, questioning, craving. Now imagine doing that yourself. Imagine pausing before reacting, choosing stillness instead of automatic response, withdrawal instead of a flare-up. What do you think would happen? That's the crux. When you stop being emotionally, physically, and mentally on call all the time, the world around you starts to wobble because people are used to nudging you with their demands, controlling you through your reactions, your impulses, your predictability. But the moment you decide to step back, the rules change. Those who thought they had you figured out realize they knew very little about you. Think about this. When you become less reachable, who panics? Who gets annoyed? Who tries to provoke you just to get some reaction? This doesn't reflect on you. It exposes them. And more importantly, it exposes how much of your life has been subtly manipulated by your own reflexes. You keep giving, accommodating, reacting, just to keep the peace or avoid losing people who, deep down, were never fully invested in you. Every forced yes, every immediate answer, every emotional response you hand over chips away at your energy. And at the end of the day, what's left? Exhaustion, frustration, a hollowness you can't quite name. Why? Because you've been too available to those who never deserved even a fraction of your attention. This isn't about turning your back on the world. It's about prioritizing yourself. It's about what Jung called individuation, the journey to becoming whole, authentic, complete. And that process begins when you understand this. Silence can be stronger than 1,000 arguments. Withdrawal, when done with awareness and intention, is an act of power. Ask yourself this now. How long will you let your emotions be puppeteered by others? How many times will you react instantly every time someone triggers a wound? Maybe it's time to cut those strings, to pull back, to become a mystery. You've been conditioned since childhood to respond, to appease, to say yes even when your instinct screams no. But here's a truth that's rarely told. Overavailability isn't a virtue. It's a trap. And as long as you believe you must be accessible, emotionally and otherwise, you will be drained, manipulated, and forgotten as soon as your usefulness fades. Being too accessible makes you predictable, and predictability is a tool others exploit. They use you as an emotional emergency button, pressing for attention, validation, or comfort, and then setting you aside. You don't notice because you've been deceived into thinking constant presence will earn you reciprocation. It won't. Jung spoke of the persona, the mask we wear to be accepted. That mask is why you're always available. You say okay while suffocating, respond instantly when exhausted, justify yourself as if the world owes you nothing but obedience. The more you center your energy on others, the more you vanish from your own existence. Being perpetually available is subtle self-abandonment, a way to chase approval, avoid rejection, and manage how others perceive you. But this control comes at a cost: your peace, your vitality, your energy. People who demand your constant presence don't actually want you. They want what you give them: validation, distraction, emotional comfort. When you refuse, when you withdraw, when you stop reacting, these same people resent it. Not because you've changed, but because you've stopped being their tool. Here's the harsh reality. The more you give, the less they value you. Abundance breeds neglect. Respect is earned, not inherited by mere presence. So pause. Ask yourself, who truly deserves your time, attention, presence, or even absence? But first, understand why we overreact, why we give so easily, why we always feel compelled to respond. Jung called it psychic energy, our inner life force. Every thought, every emotion, every reaction consumes it. The real question: are you directing it consciously, or are you letting the world decide where it flows? Every impulsive reaction, every provocation you chase, every effort to please drains you without nourishment. Those who live constantly depleted aren't weak, they're misdirected. Exhaustion leaves you vulnerable, and manipulators can sense it. Jung explained that a healthy psyche knows how to retain energy. That means learning to say no without guilt, to stay silent without fear, to observe before acting. True power lies not in reaction, but in choice. How often have you lost sleep over words unspoken, conversations replayed endlessly, slights that didn't deserve your attention? That's psychic energy bleeding away. You're feeding ghosts that should have died long ago. Observe your triggers. What causes you to lose control? That's where your energy escapes. This isn't about becoming indifferent. It's about being selective, sovereign over yourself. Conserving energy breaks the projections others cast onto you, and manipulators hate this. They thrive when you remain reactive. Stop reacting, and the dynamic collapses. Your silence unsettles them because they are forced to confront themselves. Unavailability is threatening because it exposes emptiness. The more you protect your energy, the more uncomfortable it makes them. Jung said, "We do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." Withdrawal forces others to face their shadows. That discomfort is part of the process. You will be criticized, misunderstood, rejected, but that is the price of self-possession. Silence isn't absence, it's amplified presence. It's conscious, strategic, and terrifyingly lucid. It allows clarity, observation, and awareness of patterns you never noticed while reacting. Notice who panics when you vanish, who accuses you of changing, who tries to provoke you. They thrived on your reaction. You've just shifted the balance. The path isn't easy. Silence can feel lonely, harsh, isolating, but it's the crucible in which self-mastery is forged. When you step back, when you cease to be a reactive puppet, a new presence emerges, composed, clear, whole. Misunderstanding and estrangement are temporary. The rebirth is permanent. The lonely strength of self-possession is a rare kind of freedom. In that space, clarity replaces confusion, peace replaces anxiety, wholeness replaces neediness. You are no longer bending to meet external demands. You are sovereign. You will lose some people, but you will reclaim yourself. You will distance from spaces, but reconnect to essence. You will be misunderstood, but finally respected. When you are no longer endlessly available, you become rare, valuable, unforgettable. This is rebirth. A life where you refuse to feed games, tolerate crumbs, or drain your energy for voids masquerading as love. Only what resonates with your truth, your peace, your wholeness is allowed in. If you've read this far, it means part of you is ready. Part of you already knows that self-love comes from choosing yourself, even at the cost of temporary loneliness. So ask yourself, are you ready to be misunderstood, to be rejected, even hated, for the sake of your freedom? Are you willing to pay the price of being unapologetically you? If this resonates, write in the comments, "I choose my peace." Let's see how many are ready to embrace this transformation. And don't stop here. Keep learning, keep observing, keep protecting your energy. Your freedom begins the moment you decide to become unavailable for anything that doesn't serve your wholeness.